Kevin Clack here, and I figured I would go through this presentation real quick on some of the tools that I use and the systems I've set up to get stuff done. It's worked pretty well for me, and hopefully it'll help one of you all out as well. I do have some hurdles in day-to-day life. I'm officially diagnosed with ADD, attention deficit disorder, as well as generalized anxiety, which can be a bad combination. ADD, among other things, it can make it tricky for me to remember to do tasks or stay on task and get things done, and then the anxiety piece just can amplify that a little bit. So you're not getting things done partly with the ADD, and then because you didn't get things done, the generalized anxiety increases. Bad combo. Anyway, these systems have helped me a lot with this, and so here's hoping it helps you too. The things that's helped me significantly is implementing GTD, or Getting Things Done, which, if you've ever heard of the book Getting Things Done by David Allen, that's the book cover on the right, badly cropped. Anyway, I highly recommend going through the book at some point, but understandably, you're not here to just get a book recommendation, so I'm going to go through and try to give you a short summary of GTD and then demo it the way that I use it in a program that I would recommend for anyone listening to try this stuff out. If I were to go through GTD in a few slides, the main pieces that I would go over are the inbox, setting up contexts, projects, and going through your weekly review. The most important thing here I'll go through first, which is the inbox. But if I lose you at any point through this, stick with me for the demo. I think once I do the demo of the software, this will make a lot more sense. The big thing about the inbox is it's something you set up, whether it's digital or physical. The demo, of course, will be digital software, but it's somewhere that you know that you can process any thought that should be thought, that's a typo, big or small, that jumps in your head. The idea being, if something comes up, oh, I should do A, or oh, I need to go pick up something from the grocery store. It doesn't matter how big or how small, just put it into your inbox and let yourself know it's in the inbox, I'll process it later, it's okay. Our brains are really good at doing tasks, not so much at remembering them. So once you realize this, and eventually through doing this, your brain realizes, oh, I don't need to spend as much energy trying to remember stuff, since I know that the inbox is always going to be available and I trust it. So I will just know that the inbox is there and not worry about it anymore. And what you want to do is just a couple of times a day, you're going to process your inbox. And that's just going through all of the items. You might find some things that you found out, oh, that was pointless, I don't need that anymore. Just delete it. It's okay. You're done. And if it is something you got to do, and if you got to do it in less than 2 minutes, you can get it done in less than 2 minutes, then just do it now. But that's, of course, not always going to be the case. And that's when we move to contexts and projects. Contexts are, if you need to do the work later, you need to know where it can be done. For example, it might be something that you can only do for an errand, or it's something you have to do at the office, or something you have to do at home. Anyway, you set up a context and assign that to the item so that you know where it can be done. Some examples that I've used are, I use one called Do, which is just a generalized one, so anywhere you have technology, you just have to be in front of your smartphone or your computer, and I've used this because it's easier than creating one for every single piece of technology you have. If it has to be done at home, if it has to be done at work, and one I've started recently using that's been really useful for me is creating a therapy context. And what that lets me do is that if I think of something that I want to bring up in a therapy session, or I feel upset or things like that, I also throw those in my inbox. And so that way, at my next session, when it's, oh, hey, how was this week? What happened this week? Instead of just being deer in the headlights, hopefully I'll have a nice list of things, good, bad, whatever, that I can discuss in my session that are just under the therapy context. And for projects, sometimes you'll need more than one item, so maybe it's something like do work proposal. Well, then you might want to make that a project with the context of work in this case. And it's a nice way of saying checklist for the most part. So now that you know that it's going to be a project, you want to just break it down into the tasks that need to be done to be able to complete that entire project. And some of those contexts might be at work or they might be somewhere else. Same for each of those items, you would assign them their own context. And I do also recommend for your home and your work context, also just creating a single actions project so that the things that you really just have to do once, you have somewhere to store those, since usually these are designed for just full checklists. Well, what about the one-off items? You can throw those in your single actions project, and those are just your one-off things to do. And understandably, things you might forget to check them off, you might go through and remember something else to do. That's perfectly natural, and that's what the review is for. And that is, you're going to go through your system once a week, make sure everything looks good, and you just put it in your calendar or whatever tool you choose to do. This is a way to just make sure everything's good to go. And the tool that I'm going to recommend to go through this is one called Todoist. And the reason I recommend Todoist is I'm doing this demonstration on my Mac here, and as such there are a lot of tools I really like, but they are only on the Mac, and I'm not sure what you use, and you may not be able to use a Mac or things like it at work. And the nice thing about Todoist is it's everywhere. They have clients for the Mac, for Windows, for iOS, for Android, and also on the web. So even if you can't install software at work, you should be able to log on to Todoist.com and be able to get that done. So for that reason, I'm recommending Todoist, and that's what I'm going to show you today on a quick overview of my system in Todoist, how I currently have it implemented. So here we go. So when you first open Todoist, you'll likely be in the inbox. So real quick, I'm just going to say, oh, I remembered something I have to do. Get thing done at the office. And so I went ahead and added that. But as you can see here, I already have several tasks here in my inbox. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through the whole processing right here. So for example, I have several projects that I've set up over time, and I'm going to implement a lot of those for what we have here. So right here, blog post on WordPress development stack. Well, that's a project I want to, that's a blog post I'm looking at doing at some point in the future. So I'm going to add that to the blog project. I've personally just chosen to break down my projects by work or home this way just because it's a little easier for me to see. That's just personal preference, but you can do whatever you want. And then I'm going to assign that the context, Todoist uses the term labels, but it's just a name for it. And I'm going to use the do context because I'm going to be blogging on my computer or on another device. Same thing here. There's a section of my consulting website I want to build out a little bit more. So same thing here. I'm going to edit the task. That's going to go in the blog project. That's going to go in the do context. This is some software that I thought looked interesting. It's something I can load on the server. I might want to load that in my home lab. So I'm going to edit this task. The project is my home lab. The context is home because I do have to do this at home. Done. This is a chair I was interested in getting at some point, so that's going to have the label of home, and I'm going to put this on my wish list. This is a number I need to call for an issue I have currently on a trip. There's an issue with my car rental, so I have to give them a call. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this, move it to I'm just going to do work single actions, and give it the label of do since I'm going to do it over the phone, and that's a piece of technology. This was something I was thinking about doing for my blog. I've changed my mind. I don't think I'm going to do it. So I'm going to delete that task. This is a something I used Alexa, just an Echo, to add this in. This is something I want to download for use at home. So let's edit this. We're going to assign that to my downloads project that I'm going to download it. And I'm going to change the label from Alexa to do. you can actually assign multiple contexts in Todoist. That's not something that's designed with GTD, but just with anything, you do what fits best for you. This was a position that looked interesting. I'm going to go ahead and add this also to a single action for work. And I'm going to do that with do, since I have to look at that at the computer, get things done at the office. You know what? I don't need to get that thing done anymore, so I'm just going to delete that. There are due dates, things like that that you can set up, but this is just a very quick demonstration I wanted to show you all about how I just sorted my inbox. Now, I talked about contexts and projects. Here are my projects, and I've just personally chosen to put my projects under a sub-project for work and home, just so that it's a little easier for me to see it here. This is just my own personal preference. So, looking here, for example, I've developed some of these as time has gone on. So, just to go through a couple of these, wish list. What I've been doing to try to save money is if something looks interesting, I throw it in here. After 30 days, if it looks interesting, I still want to buy it, I can buy it, but this gets it out of my head. These are things that I may want to do at my blog at some point. Restaurants and things that I thought might be good to do on a date at some point, so those go in here to remember to do for what would be something fun to do. Items that I want to download, errands I need to do. If I have a workout, the fitness stuff would go there. Some of these I'm not going to click because they're spoilers. I see something that might be good for somebody for a gift at some point. I throw it in here, and that way when someone's birthday comes up or an event comes up, well, maybe I found something cool already that I thought would fit them perfectly. So I set this so whenever I see something later that I might want to provide, I can do that. Same for home lab. These are things I want to look at working on in my home lab at some point. Personal development is for personal development, and then just some single action stuff. For work, training, single actions, personal development. Someday maybe is for things that I want to look at some point. Collect consulting, that is the side business I'm doing, and those are broken down by each client, things that I want to do with each one. The shopping list, that was just automatically thrown in by Amazon when I linked my Echo to it. One cool thing with Todoist is you can do a bunch of extra integrations. So I have my Amazon Echo set up so that if I'm near it, I can say, "Hey Alexa, add X thing to my to-do list," and it's already in Todoist now. I don't have to think about it. I can voice do my inbox. And in this process, while we've been going through this as well and me demoing it, I've kind of just already done my weekly review. So that's kind of already been taken care of. So hooray for that. Anyway, I hope this piece for Todoist has been very helpful, and I'm going to demo one more piece of software for you here in just a second. All right, so one more piece of software I wanted to show you. Unfortunately, this is iOS only. I'm hoping to find something for Android that does the same. When I do, I'll do a little thing about it too. Anyway, this is app here called Do. This is the best reminder app I've ever used, and I use it for the critical stuff that I absolutely cannot forget. And the big thing that's unique about this one is, I'm sure you've used reminders and things here and there where you get your reminder, you pass it, you snooze it, or you see it and you go, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll totally do that," but you don't because you saw it and then you completely forgot about it. That's where Do comes in. And what's unique about Do is you can create custom reminders that do not go away until you completely clear them, as in you can set a time frame that it'll keep sending you brand new notifications until you get rid of it, which makes sure that you don't forget it. And the main thing I have set for it right now is doing my timesheet for work and taking my morning and my evening medicine. This last one is a weekly task for getting the trash out. It says the ferries because the company that takes out the trash at our complex is called Trash Ferries. And they just take out the trash in the apartment. I'm just going to show you real quick how to create one real quick in here. I'm just going to hit the plus button, and I put in my reminder. So I'm going to say, let's say, wake up. Well, I want that to happen every day at 6:30 in the morning. So to just get to there really quickly, I'm going to tap 9:30, and then I'm going to hit these down buttons. 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. Now it's at the 6:30, and it's set right. The ZZZ is what is the timer, how many minutes between each one. So right now it's set. It'll keep sending me new notifications every 5 minutes. Do I want it every minute? Do I want it every 10, 15, 30? Or maybe I don't want it for this one. That's what you set up there. But I'm going to say every 5 minutes. But I want this every weekday. It's not. This says it's not repeating, so I'm going to hit that button. And these are the ways I can have it repeat, custom or the default ones. I'm going to say weekdays at 6:30 in the morning. And then I can set what particular alert it uses. And you can also create custom ones if you wanted to as well. But these are the default ones that are set up to use each time. I hit OK. Now it's added into the system. Now I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that. There are a couple ways you can do it. You can select it and hit this delete button. If you hit check, that says you did it, and now it's not going to do it until next Monday because I'm recording this on a Thursday evening, and that was the Friday reminder, and so it's not going to do it again until Monday. But I don't want this to come up anymore, so I'm going to press and swipe. That's saying complete, but I don't want complete, I want gone. Whoop! And now it's gone. And you could just do this for the reminders you need to do. You could, let's say you're still having trouble checking your inbox, remembering to check your inbox, you can use that for this. So set maybe a twice a day thing, process your inbox, and it'll keep reminding you until you close it. And that's why I use Do. That's why it's absolutely worth the $5 it costs for it. There's nothing else like it. There is also a timer feature. I just use the reminders, but you can do the same for timers. So you can create custom timers for certain durations and have the same system set up where it will constantly send you notifications until you close them. So you can set them for specific times or timers themselves. I know CGP Grey from the YouTube channel as well as multiple podcasts uses this specifically for its timer feature because he said he's checked the entire App Store and he's yet to find a timer app that works the way he wants to other than this. So that's just a little tidbit that might be useful for you, and I hope this is helpful for you. Alright, well, I hope those two pieces of software and the quick overview of GTD was helpful. If you want some more information about what I went through, I just created these quick links through my blog to just create fast links so you can go there immediately. Just go to clackopedia.com/Todoist, and then I'll take you to Carl Poland's tutorials on Todoist, which are very detailed. They go into every single possible thing you'd ever want to do with Todoist if you want to get really, really deep. The first few should be sufficient to just do day-to-day, but if you really want to go in deep, I highly recommend his series. He also has one on Evernote on his channel as well. And then if you want to buy Do, you can just go to the App Store and find it, or if you go to that website on my blog, that will just directly link you to the App Store. Disclosure, it is an affiliate link, so I get maybe 1/10 of a coffee for doing it, but I just set that up to make it easy if you do want to just grab it that way. FYI, if you didn't know, Apple affiliate links actually come from Apple's share of the pie, not the developers, so he still gets his whole share. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful. If you'd like me to do some more about these, or some for other tools that I use or systems that I use, please let me know. And until then, signing off.